Oh man, that's big, and that's a big full screen there. Oh man. Oh my. What? Okay. I'm looking. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's been a minute. So, by the man, I'm rusty AF, as the kids be saying, dropping that AF. But so, welcome back to the Brick Connection. I know it's been a minute. It's been like almost 2 months at this point. Uh, Not going to go into it, but there's some things that happened and some things that kind of go with flames and rains, things like of that nature. But we are back the title's very misleading, but I have to figure out how to go back and correct it because it's not the 6th episode, it is the 7th, believe it or not. So if you actually got to go back, you can go through and see all of them for every day of the week up to this point. And then you'll be waiting a week because the show is no longer weekly. It is now bi-weekly because it's just getting a little bit harder to go, every week. Can't be getting all that action in there every day of the week. But as always, this episode is powered by Matt Black Bricks. And if you notice, actually, the pinned comment, we have now dropped t-shirts. Comes in sand blue, the exact sand blue that you're seeing here, where it says like in the contrast area. It's that sand blue. It's very pretty, just like our guest, and also the show is also brought to you by Tom the Builder. So make sure, next time you go on Tom the Builder, drop that OSTIF code for 5% off your order. Does not work for LC products, though. I learned that the hard way. I'm kidding. There was no hard way. Tom's a very nice guy, very good family man. Dude's great. But none other, there's no one like him. There's no one like Cody, who runs Matt Black Bricks, best friend. Dude, you guys goated. But so without further ado, if you guys could tell, I mean, I don't know if people can see, or I'm not going to assume that people can see. That would be kind of rude. But you might be able to tell the guest of this episode is none other than the legendary Mark Larson himself. The man is like the legend. He's everything behind what makes Brickworld great, because not only does he just make Brickworld great, but he gets people that love Brickworld as much as he does to help him make Brickworld turn dreams into reality. And it's been a place that's changed my life. And meeting Mark has changed my life, because that guy, I tell you what, there's nothing better than Mark. He's great. There's just not enough things to say that man is, it's a shame he's taken, because man, I would go and reel that man right up. Just saying. I'd be willing to say that we have the greatest bromance in the Lego space in history. And so, no further ado, here's our guest of the evening, Mark Larson.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Austin. Thank you for the amazing intro.
Oh, well, shucks.
I was like, can we type that out and just like leave it in my bio?
That would be, wow. That'd be like an entire paragraph. Yeah. I can only type like 2 words a minute. I'm illiterate when it comes to typing, because I even forgot my own episode number in the title.
I would just have some sort of program transcribe it. It's all good.
There's something for that. But
there's something for that. There is.
Before we get into anything else, do you think it's time we go on our night drive and welcome everybody in?
I definitely think it's time for that.
I agree, because without them, the show would not be possible.
Correct.
Me and Matt Black Bricks love it.
Look at you.
Yeah. So, without further ado, we gotta roll down the windows. There we go. There we go. We got some breeze going here. It was 80 degrees here in Ohio yesterday, 70 today. But for the first comment of the night, we all just got cooped a little bit.
You got cooped. Nice.
This is going to be a good one. Well,
good to see you, Coop.
I hope so. And, oh, look at that.
That's for Coop.
That's just for Coop? I love it. Yeah. The nimble saucepan. All the way across the pond. Did you know that?
I did not until now.
Yeah, he's across the pond. He says, we'll replay gang the cheese out of this when I wake up. My Brick Connection shirt's in transit now. Man.
Nice.
I believe he was the first to purchase a Brick Connection shirt. He even beat me.
The Brick Connection shirt virgin. There he is.
Yeah.
Then we have that cherry.
We're popping all sorts of chilies tonight, dude. But we got Nate from Nate Builds. If you guys did not know, he's an alumni of the show.
What's up, Nate?
We love Nate here. And we got Brick Dynasty. He says he can't wait for this. Neither can I.
Brick Dynasty, hello.
Then Shreddy, the best Brickworld owner of our lives.
Shreddy!
There.
There you have it. There was confetti for Shreddy.
And in honor of my favorite non-Force user character in Star Wars, Simple Man, we have a Simple Mark. You know? You gotta,
yeah.
And then
like
Muttley, 777,
Muttley
should be able to catch some of this live instead of replay for a change. Well, awesome.
Muttley's one of my old school bros, like from back in the Eurobricks days.
Really?
I'm so happy to see Muttley. Oh yeah, we go way back. We go like 20 years back. I'm not exaggerating.
That's wild.
Muttley,
That's wild.
Good to see you.
And we have Ultra. Won't be able to make this one live, but have a good one. We shall. But I hope you're having a good Easter.
I think they said live, not alive.
Oh, I struggle with L's. It's been a thing since I was a child. Brick Studs, going to be a good episode with Mark.
Oh, thank you,
I would agree. Then we got Slurpee. What up, lads? Looking forward to this one. I agree.
Great name.
And he also says we all gotta rock. We all gotta roll. I think he may have said
rock up to Brickworld wearing TBC merch, just like everybody rocking up to the Minecraft movie dressed up as Steve.
I'd be flattered. I'd probably cry.
Let's do it. I got to get my merch in then.
Let's just say yours will be sent to you tonight. Can't wait to go Mark hunting at Brickworld Chicago, says Padawan.
I'm working on disguises because we know damn well everybody knows my real disguise now.
I remember just, that I'll bring that up later. But Shreddy, he has the eyes. Then we got another alumni, True Squadron.
True Squadron. Good to see you, sir.
Says, let's go. No, my bad. Let's go. Hype for the show.
He made a little poem about it.
We even got Amy.
Amy Schultz is amazing.
What's going on, Amy? Well, thank you. I'm glad that you think I'm doing an awesome job.
Balloons for Amy.
For a minute, I was just going to get the single balloon. I was like, that'd be depressing. We got Haze Motion. What's going on? And then it looks like that. Oh, we got Gen Ultron. Gen Ultron was the giveaway winner during one of the past live streams. Yeah, it looks like. Oh,
look who's here.
Serbius.
Z Cerberus? Yep, he's here.
Is that Ben?
My bestie, the co-host of my show, which episode 99 airs tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central on @Brickworld Events.
I'm excited.
Plugging away over here. But yeah, join us at 7 p.m. Central tomorrow night for
an Easter edition.
An Easter edition and a May the 4th preview of Think Outside the Blocks on Brickworld Events on YouTube. Thank you for letting me plug myself.
Yeah, plug away, dude. This episode wouldn't be possible without you.
Oh, thanks, sir.
And Amy says, both of you are amazing. Well, here's something. Amy, we're not amazing. You're amazing.
100%.
All right. Wow, my mic is really close to my head.
It is. I noticed it's really in your shot. Mine's here and I hit my head on it all the time. Especially when I'm duck. My old man near vision is going and I'm like, what does that say? And I'm into the mic, yeah.
You see, it's been 2 months since I've done this show. Just about. So it's like I'm trying to figure everything out again. Got everything arranged perfectly once more. But, yeah.
May I take a moment to ask people who are watching and enjoying the show to like and subscribe to the stream?
You're doing it before I even do. It's very rare. You can ask anyone who's a regular here.
Like and subscribe. We're terrible at it, Ben and I. We got to get
You're better at it than I am.
Our chat keeps us on point with it for sure.
And this is also the very first time in Brick Connection. This is being streamed on a different channel too.
I know, right? We're co-streaming tonight, so hopefully we're pulling in some more audience for you. Yeah. And if you've never seen Brick Connection before, I highly recommend you subscribe to my Pookie right now.
And you subscribe to my Pookie.
That's right.
Yeah, we all love each other here. So, now that's all out of the way, the very first question. You haven't seen this before.
No, I have not seen this.
The very first question I ask everyone, what are you drinking tonight? What's the beverage of choice?
So I have downgraded to the smaller bottle of Jameson to make sure that I don't go too far. And so I've poured myself this even, and so I'm not going to drink the rest of this. I'm just going to go with what's here.
We'll see in 40 minutes.
And then backing it up is this, so that I don't have any more of this, which it is empty, but it did start full yesterday. I was like, wait a minute, it's gone? Okay. I probably should have known that.
Hey,
But yeah, that's what I'm drinking. What are you
it's
drinking?
I'm going basic summer vibes here. We're sharing a
Ooh.
Coke with a sis today.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to my sis out there.
Way to go, sis.
She might
That's
actually
right.
be watching. That would be kind of funny.
That would be hilarious. Would it?
I know she watched the first one, and she says she watches all of them, but I think, she just lying to support her brother at this point.
My sister has been very giving and saying that she leaves the live streams on during the day while she's working to give me the watch hours. But then I checked in and she's not actually doing that. She's a very busy person with 2 children.
Shame on the sister. Shame
traveling throughout the country. So yeah, no shame for her. She does a lot for our family. So.
Oh, we got another alumni here tonight.
Oh, Brick Hive is here.
He's an alumni.
Brick Hive, we tried to raid your stream last night. I hope people came by. The stream that we were doing went so late that I stopped in after I was done eating dinner after the stream and watching White Lotus. Came down, and Pure Ant Fury was already over. So I gave you the rewatch hours, but I was not there, unfortunately, for it. So I do apologize. I tried to. I'm usually there.
I tried to stay up for it, but I ended up, I don't know. I was started yawning at 5, and I fell asleep at 7.
Z-Cerberus in the chat calling me a liar, and I'm not a liar. And that's not how you spell it, first of all. You and I both tried to drive traffic to his stream from Reed's stream.
Oh, he's clarifying. Your sister, that is.
Oh, thank you. I was like, wait a minute, sir.
So
I'm going to text his ass right now.
What we're going to do, this is when we start, getting inside of Mark. That sounded really bad.
It's fine.
So, actually, this is not right. Please wait.
I'm holding.
Please wait.
In a hold pattern.
Here we go.
My arm hair itches, so I can take this time to scratch my arms. My body's weird. You'll hear more about that on Wednesday. Our stream. You're ready to talk about awkwardness.
That happens.
Fun times.
The fun times had by all. But so, how are you doing tonight, Mark?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
This was an insanely busy week, but let's talk about mental health for a second. We say that a lot on my stream. This was the week where I finally started crawling out of some of the loss of mental health I had over the last 5 years, from COVID to buying a public event business during COVID, engaging in a bunch of escapism for a few years, and then trying to get back into being a responsible business owner. I broke down a bunch of barriers over the last 5 weeks, and I'm barreling through, and I'm feeling great. And I feel honestly right now like I'm on top of the world. Good. And it may crash tomorrow. Who knows with any of this stuff. How about you, sir? How are you doing?
I can't really complain. I finally started a new job this week.
Congratulations.
And this place pays me actually, which is nice.
They what?
Yeah, they pay.
That's
me.
Weird.
I know, right?
Why do they do that?
I don't know. They must think I'm just that good of a guy.
Oh God, Ralph Nader is in the house. Alternate candidate is here.
Oh, I see. Hello. But yeah, Daredevil ended. That was sad.
Yeah, we haven't even watched the first episode yet. We're still on White Lotus.
Good. So good. The series was. I'm a very tough critic, and to me, I gave it I think 8.9 was my final. There's a few spots where I wish they did something a little bit more with some characters here and there, but once you see the finale, it's that makes sense. But I mean, I can't complain. A lot of the families in town, so I get to see them.
That's good.
I had dinner with them earlier. Then I'm like, hey, I got a show tonight. And then I'm here. Then after here, we're all gonna go back over and watch a few scary movies, I think.
I'm skipping our Easter dinner for this. No, I'm kidding. This was just there's too much going on for me to have gone to our family Easter, and we're not any denomination of religion. I'll just put it that way. And so I was just kind of they're just getting together to have a brisket. And so I was like, we really can't. And so this gave me the time to do this. So
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
And everything works out for a reason.
Yeah, I agree.
So, for not all, I'm sure everyone here knows who Mark Larson is. But
I don't know that they do.
So, tell us who Mark Larson is before we go any deeper.
I will tell you this much. My name is Mark.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I own the company Brickworld, and I am 5'7", and I'm a Scorpio.
What's a Scorpio?
Yeah.
Like, are you a scorpion without the N?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what I am, but
you don't. What's your birthday?
June 12th.
You're a Cancer.
Oh.
Cancers that's probably why we get along so well. Cancers are my favorite. June 12th zodiac. Let me just make sure on this.
I know I'm a dragon.
Oh, you're a damn Gemini.
What's that mean?
It means there are two of you.
The last I checked, there's only one of me.
Nope, there's a dichotomy to you. You got one side that is completely defenseless, and one side that is defends yourself to the nth degree. Accurate?
I don't know. Well, as I age, we'll find more answers.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Something of that nature, yeah.
Yeah, your personality is definitely about to grow more and be really different as you age. We got a Leo. We got a Leo in the chat.
Oh,
so they dominate their world. I'll tell you that much right now.
It's giving Leo. So the kids would be saying it's giving
Leo.
It's giving. So my very first question for you, Mark.
We're going right into the Mark interview?
Yeah, why not?
No walk-up song?
Oh, we can give you a walk-up song.
All right, let's do it.
We can do that.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you. What does that say? Generaltron's bricks?
Generaltron.
Here, I'm walking up.
There you go. There you go. Oh,
there we are. I'm here.
You went all out, sir.
There, I walked up. Now, ask me a question.
All right. So you kind of dabbled on this previously, when we were talking initially. Tell us, how did you get into Lego?
Oh dear Lord,
your very beginning.
Get into it.
Yeah.
I've just been into it. So I will tell you. I guess this is the origin story. I don't remember it, but my mom was meeting her friend Evelyn Hewsome, at a Baker Square in 1979. And her daughter, Marianne, was my age. And so we're in our high chairs at this Baker Square, and Marianne was being fussy. And so Evelyn brought out some Duplo bricks. And my mom said, "What are those?" And she said, "These are Legos." And then I was given my first Lego set, the Duplo Ducks.
The Duplo Ducks.
And then since then, it's just been a compulsion. Yeah, it just hit my DNA right away. It was like, this is right. It's like one of my earliest memories was going on vacation to a cabin in Wisconsin, and we had a dresser in the room that was mine. And my mom was like, "Unpack your suitcase." And so I organized all my Duplo by color in this dresser.
That's cute.
That's about it. I mean, what?
But how has that, so that's where it started?
Yes.
When did that initially end? Or was there ever what people say a dark age?
My only dark age was in college, because I wasn't about to try to bring all that stuff to college with me. And so the dark age was just kind of forced. But when I'd go home for the weekend, I would dump out the Lego. My parents would go to bed at 10:30 and go watch Carson, which probably turned to Leno while I was in college. Maybe it was no. Maybe it turned to Leno when I was in high school. I don't remember the exact dates. But they'd watch the news and go up to bed and watch late night TV. And I'd go to the basement and dump out my Lego bin and try to build something because that's what I wanted to do when I was home. Like I missed doing this. Like I really never had a dark age, except for the fact that I didn't want to bring it down to college. But when we moved into an apartment,
A slightly dim age.
it was a parking lights age, I'll say.
Then, you haven't always been the owner of Brickworld.
I have not.
That's, and all the events and everything that have taken place in your life, that's fairly recent.
Let me give you the bullshit answer, the marketing answer. No one's ever been the owner of Brickworld. It belongs to the community.
There you have it. But I remember,
When
talk. Oh,
yeah, woo, yeah.
I don't know these.
It belongs to the community.
I don't know these gestures yet.
Yay for the community.
Man, why is mine so delayed?
First time I did this on the live stream, I did like air quotes and balloons came up and we were like, what just happened?
Sounds like something that would happen here. But I remember, watching some of your streams and talking to you, in chats and whatnot. And even during our conversation, at Brickworld, which I want to kind of discuss as like its own chapter in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me, you worked at Legoland, correct?
I did.
Can you tell us about like how that happened and how it went?
Sure. So let me tell you a couple stories here. So once upon a time, there was a man named Brian Bonahum and a man named Adam Reed Tucker. And they started Brickworld together. And I think the first year was 2007. This is the sort of thing I should have ingrained in my memory at this point, but my memory's a little broken from the last 5 years.
Or Jameson.
Well, that and trauma and other escapism.
Everything else.
But like I can tell you every moment of growth on my Animal Crossing island. But they started this. It was based. They did a Comic-Con in Chicago. House of Bricks was their contribution to it. I don't even think it was a Comic-Con because we have C2E2. Maybe Chicago, I should know all this. Yeah, it happened last weekend. And shout out to Shylug for handing out our postcards there. We had several inquiries come in that were like, I got your postcard at C2E2. And I'm like, who's giving out our postcards at C2E2? This is amazing. It was Shylug. Because they have a interactive brick area there, that's pretty great that somebody did that for us. And we sent them the postcards so they can do whatever they want with them. But they did that, and that's the right way to do it. So the company started. And it was at a very small show. I think the first year it was $50 to go. And I'd been to C2E2 at that point. I'd been to San Diego Comic-Con. So when it was $50, I thought I bought a day pass. So I didn't realize I can go for the entire week and display. So I was in a show at the time. And so on my way to the show that day, I used to be an actor. And so on my way to the show, I'm like, let's stop at Brickworld and see what's going on. And I brought my camera. And like I went to the registration desk and I got my badge. And there was some sort of ceremony going on at the time. There used to be like 5.
Was it this badge
during the weekend? No, it was
not
very different.
Dox myself here. Not doxing myself.
It was a little bit different back then, at least. And so like
was it like a little clip-on badge?
I think so. I don't remember the specifics.
Okay. So,
but I appreciate like your publisher level need to like put everyone in the moment. So the moment is we're at the Westin in Wheeling, Illinois, also not Chicago. Like we're in Schaumburg now, so it's not Chicago when you're there. Unfortunately, you're in the Chicago suburbs, close enough. The Brickworld Chicago suburbs doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, it does.
And so we were
the Chicago burbs.
And so we're in. Yeah, I'm not going to call the show that. Unfortunately, we're in the Westin, and like the show took place in 2 ballrooms. Because they didn't have like large event space and not all the rooms opened up to each other. So there's 2 different ballrooms. Maybe there was like, maybe at most there was 10 vendors there. I think there was less than 100 attendees and like a ton of public. But like, so we all got to know each other. I think the first Brickworld Chicago had like 25,000 square feet of display space. And that was like 15,000 square feet in one room, 10,000 square feet in another, maybe just the first year. No, I'm sorry. The first year was just the first ballroom. It was only 15,000 square feet.
It's not a whole lot in comparison scale to now.
100,000 square feet now, plus like the 40,000 square feet of like event space that we use for presentations, workshops, LGMS, activity room, ceremonies. It's grown. This is our 17th show over 19 years. And the one thing I will say is like, I went in there with my badge, and I could be in there because I had a badge, but I didn't know that. So everybody was in some sort of like ceremony where the hall was closed and they had to go see this because it used to happen several times a week. We do that mostly now for opening ceremonies. We're not even going to do that anymore.
Okay.
Let people do what they want to do. And if they need to set up something, we have another new Hashima coming. So we're not going to close down the hall for opening ceremonies. So I think I'm sneaking in. I'm like, nobody else is in the hall, but I am. No, I could have been in there if I wanted to. But I meet Kyle Trost. No. Oh God. No. Kyle Trost is a very different person from my past. I don't want to watch this back now because I did not mean to say that name. Kyle, what is his name? Kyle Peterson, who initially owned Brickforge. Kyle Trost is a friend of mine from college who committed suicide. So that was
I'm sorry.
Right, but no, my fault. Like, I don't know why my brain pushed that name into my head. So that's why I said that threw me off very bad. But Brickforge at the time was making Lego sheep and Lego cows, and like Lego didn't make those at the time. So he was making third-party market stuff, and I was like, "What's this? This is amazing!" So I did a review of those on Eurobricks because I was an admin on Eurobricks at the time, and it kind of married the two properties together. And so Brian Bonahum and Adam Tucker became very aware of who I was because we were like promoting them and promoting like one of their very good friends and one of their vendors. And it just kind of became a thing over the next year that I was like a little bit more in communication with the owners of the company than a typical attendee normally would. Like you in your first year, it's just like now we're Pookies. And it's like, but I'm not Pookies with every first-time attendee. I'm not Pookies with anybody else, actually, except my dog. I call her Pook.
Can't have that anymore.
I'm like, what's up, Pook?
She's out.
No, Ryan's a Pook too. You got to let her in. We'll bring. Oh, she's right behind me, so she did come on. We'll bring her up on the stream in a little bit.
Yeah.
She's a little bit hard to carry, not because she's heavy, but because she just doesn't like to be held up. She's a little bit of I'm in control. I'm a hound. Anyway, so let me see if I can connect all these threads together now. So we're in 2007. The next year, 2008, we're setting up, and we forgot to ask for mock cards. And Kathy, Brian's wife, is very annoyed that we're asking for mock cards on site. And she's a very sarcastic person, and I dig into that sort of way of dealing with everyone. So I was like, I can throw right back. I'm like, I can ball bust. You're busting my balls. I'm gonna bust your balls right back. But I'm like, also, I realize that we're being a pain in the ass. And I'm like, if you need help with this, I can mail merge, I can proofread, I can print. And I'm like, if you need a mock card coordinator, let me be the guy on the ground who everyone's going to get their mock cards. And I suffered through that for like 6 years afterwards. And I shortly became their program and artwork coordinator as well, and just kept taking on more and more roles. And then, but let's keep in 2008, that second year.
2008. Great year.
A man named Steve DeCramer was there. He was a designer for Legoland, California.
Okay. And
he recruited me to audition to come out and design for them. He's like, you know what you're doing. He's like, you would be hired over most of these jamokes that they get to come out, which was not true. There was a bunch of amazing talent there. And so I went out to California a week after Brickworld closed, to go through this competition to be a master model builder. And I won it along with 4 other people, and then like an additional 4 that they brought in as associate builders. It was the first time that they were expanding a lot. They were expanding the brand a ton at that time. And so, and it was like, I've lived in the Midwest all my life, and moving to California, I was in a relationship at the time. It wasn't the best relationship, but it was still hard to leave. It was very hard to leave my dog. They wanted to do a bunch of media interviews, and they're like, you have media training. Come here. And like halfway through, I was like, can you stop putting me in on these because I needed to go call my boyfriend and cry about it because I was going to uproot my life. And they thought I was being emotional. Like, I'm so overwhelmed that I got it. And I'm like, no, this is not an easy decision. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, that was the day Michael Jackson died.
Really? I remember that day vividly. I was at my grandma's house. We
were on CNN, and suddenly all the media left. Like halfway through the competition portion of it, the media just like bolted. We didn't notice because we were like competing against each other. And then we turned on our phones again after the and at that point I had like some sort of like Motorola flip phone. And it was like, so it just said something like
Razor?
I believe it was a Razor, yes. No, it wasn't that thin.
So this was June 25th.
It was pre-Razor, but I do believe that the Razor existed at that point. Okay. June 25th, yes, exactly. A week after Brickworld.
June 25th, 2009.
2009, thank you. And so like it wasn't even texts. It was voicemail messages like check your news, check the news when you get back to your hotel room. That sort of voicemail message. And then like my boyfriend at the time been like, hey, Michael Jackson died, blah blah blah. So we're learning all this, and like the press was telling us that because they were still there. And they're like, we're switched to this, but we got to get interviews so that we can play him tomorrow and all this other sort of stuff. So it was fun. It was exciting. So yeah, I did. I went and worked for Legoland for 4 years, and then came back here, went and got a second degree because my initial degree was in theater. I got a degree in branding.
Okay.
And which was the absolute opposite side of marketing that I needed in order to buy Brickworld and run an event. However, I didn't know I was going to do that at the time. I was trying desperately to get into an ad firm and work on branding and work on like advertising campaigns and experiential marketing. That's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to build stuff. I wanted to build experiences. And it's just really hard to get your foot in the door when you haven't worked in an ad firm already for a long time.
Okay.
So I got a lot of interviews because everybody wanted to meet the Lego guy. Okay. And then I did a lot of work for Adam Tucker, like one of the founders of Brickworld. He had been bought out by Brian Bonahum at that point, but at that point he was also an LCP. And so he was overwhelmed with work because he was trying to open a museum. And so he farmed out all his work for LCP to me. And so I did all of his LCP projects. And so I would be sitting there like, all right, I'm going to try really hard to get a job. I was freelancing for other smaller graphic design firms. I was building websites for people. And then I'd get a Lego commission from him. And it'd be like 3 weeks worth of work for like $10,000 or more.
Okay.
And so I'd be like, well, I'm not going to look for a job during this because I'm about to make $10,000 for 3 weeks worth of work.
Yeah.
And so then I'd stop the job search. So I wasn't as tenacious as I should have been, but I was also getting a fuck ton of money.
That's more than I make in like 4 months.
Right? It's more than I'm making right now.
Man, because you go back in time and hire me too. It's like, I'll take just 2,500.
Totally. If I can go back in time, there's a lot I would do differently. I would definitely look you up.
I would probably be under 15 at that point.
I don't mean to make Brickworld sound dire. I just paid off all the debt from buying the business. So now and we had a really bad year because consumer confidence was so. I know, right? Let's talk about you're absolutely. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's do this shit for the fact that the debt is now all paid off. And actually, I have a dispute with the Small Business Association because they charged me $13 this month for interest on a loan that I paid off last month.
What?
And I was like,
that makes no damn sense.
Interest on what? I'm like, if I get another, it was only $13, but I'm pissed, right?
Interest is like the biggest scam of all time.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. So like, we're at the point where like, I'm still looking for a job. I'm still doing commissions for Adam, and Matt proposes. And like somewhere within the same amount of time, Brian Bonahum calls me and asks me if I want to buy the company from them because they're ready to retire. And it's just Brian and Kathy that own it at that point. And I'm like, I know I had done work for them. I was doing their I was doing the program, I was doing the artwork, I was doing marketing stuff for them at that point. And I was doing all the mock card stuff and do all the branding stuff and like trying to keep them, like trying to convince them to do more marketing, to bring more people to the expo parts of the shows and their expos. And I'd done several of their expos, so I knew the brand. And I knew well enough that like he had ruminated to me other people to sell the company to, like 2 other people that he had like seemed like they were all in. and they had, gone through this sort of process where they were like, let's let them run a new expo and see if they like it. And so they're like, do you want to run a new expo and see if you like it? I'm like, why is he playing all these people against each other? Like, I did not realize that those people had like failed the test.
Yeah.
And he was like, he and Kathy were like, it's Mark, or we'll find somebody else but Mark first. And I didn't know. So 3 months went by. He called me. He's like, we're serious about this. What are your plans? So I told him, because I have a very long history with Brian. I love him like a brother. And I was like, listen, I'm like, I know you told X this, and I know you told Y that, and I know that this went this way and that went that way. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about that. You're telling yourself a story. He's like, we want out. We went out, and like, you're the perfect person. If you don't, like, we want your advice on who to sell it to, but like, you are it. You're the only person we're asking this. Don't think we're trying to like pit up a bunch of people against each other. Like, we know what you do for us, and we know that you love the community, and we know you're the right person to take this brand where it can go.
Yeah.
Looking back at that, I'm like, were you right about that?
No,
I get tired on a lot of things. Yeah.
No, yes, I've only been there once, but I will say, before then, I never went to any convention or any form of expo in my life. And then, having probably, I kid you not, like the best time of my entire life at Brickworld, and then I went to Fan Expo like a month ago. I was like, man, imagine if they had Mark running this shit. Like, this place would be so much better.
You might feel the same way at like Brickworld Indianapolis, which is just an expo as well. So in their defense, like, it's just a different model.
It's like, the thing is, like, when I was going there, the Fan Expo or whatever, I kid you not, I just knelt down to tie my shoe. And I was getting like screamed at by their security because apparently I kneeled down in a spot to tie my shoe where I shouldn't have been. Like,
that's a fire hazard. Like, people are.
But
what do you do when kids kneel down to tie their shoes? Like, who are these security people?
I went all the way against the wall. Like, my rear was against the wall. I knelt down.
Yeah. On that, may I say real quick, like, our security is trained by me. They're off-duty police officers, but they follow my lead. I say, we lead with customer service. We want to make sure everybody's having a good time. If you have a question about what somebody's doing, you approach them with, how's your day? Are you liking the event? And then address your concern. Yeah, because just err on the side of caution that they didn't mean to do whatever they're doing.
No, it wasn't like I was like, popping a diddly squat, on, just chilling, legs out type thing. I just knelt down to tie my damn shoe.
You crawl under a table to tie that shoe. You get out of the aisle. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's like, do you want me to go just like stand in the middle of traffic and tie my shoe? Like, let me know what you want me to do. Like, I'm just trying not to trip on my shoelace. That's it.
Will you, officer, please tie my shoe safely? What is that? That's ridiculous. We had a company, the first year I did it, we had the company that the Renaissance recommends. And it's a bunch of like, I have a bunch of off-duty police officers. These were like retired police, like like 15 years retired, and they were angry and they had a point to prove. And I was like, we gotta get these people out of here. Let's let them do traffic control. I love our security. The reason I want to like pinpoint that is because like, I know people saw them take care of a lot of people saw them take care of a certain situation this year. Even that guy, I thought, handled it beautifully. And he himself is 60 years old. And it seemed a little aggressive to some, but it for me, it was handled perfectly because someone needed to be removed from the show.
Measures were being taken before it got to that point.
And so days of measures had been taken up to that point. And he was so gentle. It was one of my staff members who no longer works for me, who got in there, was probably more aggressive, but even he handled it great. That's not the reason he's not with us anymore. Like, he handled it very well. Yes, he was more like, no, you're going, you're leaving, there's no question. But I only knew that because I was standing close to him. I could hear him say that. His body language wasn't bad. Like, I love the security measures we have in place, especially the fact that I've told them I trust them to know what our policies are. So if they think somebody needs to leave, they make the call. I don't have to be there. I'm too exhausted to make some of these. What happens if it's you? Just for an example, what's happening if it's you who breaks the content policy? I'm not going to run up and have you crying to me that you need to stay. If they say you broke the content policy, you go. Like, it cannot be in my hands. I'm too close to these people. I'm way too close to these people. You
I
know,
see.
I know it'll never be you, by the
I
way.
see. If I get pulled over for driving my car inside the Rennie, I'm not going to call Mark to come bail me out. That's all I know.
That's actually allowed. That would only be a minor infraction. So
Driving my car into the Rennie, like the actual lobby.
we have quite a few people who have a lot of stuff to drop off, like people who bring their own tables, like
Oh
LGMS.
no, I'm saying
So they
like
bring in their trailers
upstairs,
before we open. Oh yeah,
upstairs
yeah,
in the lobby.
yeah. Minor infraction because it's Pookie. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes.
In the hotel lobby, we have no control over that.
Shoot.
We
I
only have control over the space that we rent, and that's only the convention center. So those two properties are separate.
I haven't called them in like 2 months. Are you proud of me?
I am. I still have a note here to ask the staff if they'll get on a live stream with you.
Yes, that would be amazing. Fun fact, I'm ordering like 3 of these mics to take with me to Brickworld.
So your chat's been pretty live since we started
Yes.
talking. So if you want to bring
Oh,
up
yeah,
some of
yeah.
those questions
sure.
and give me a break from my my mental vomiting.
Yes, because I like to kind of, do like a
How'd you do
question and go.
I tried to.
chat.
You told me to tell everybody a bit about myself, and I gave like my opening ceremony spiel of like, here's 4 things to know about me, and then
That's what I like.
somehow I'm spilling it all.
It's just
It's
part
the
of the-
disarming Pookie factor.
it's the stiff.
I'm fucking annoyed.
Oh hey, Copper Bowers here. Oh hey,
Copper Valor's here.
I'm not
Oh,
staying since it's
nice.
a brick thing. Wow, it's my brick thing right now. Okay.
yeah. So we're rating Ostif's stream by co-streaming. Copper Valor, you've talked to her several times
Yeah.
on the okay,
Animal
cool.
Crossing.
She has a bit of disdain for bricks. Not really disdain, just not an interest. So, but I love that she stops by. She gives us a couple watch hours.
That's good.
And she brings a lot of viewers to our channel, and we've started to bring some over to hers. Mayo was there one night. He
I
got a
was
free
there.
membership.
That's awesome.
You've been there. That's right.
Yep.
Ben's
And
been there.
Padawan, he's probably the eldest friend I've had since coming into like the space. Known him the longest. He's
Yeah.
actually coming to Brickworld for his first time this year, all the way from the UK.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to meet Padawan in person.
He says, so many people have asked me if I'm going to brick conventions in the UK. I always say the same thing. Brickworld Chicago will be my first.
I have one thing to say. I have one thing to say about Padawan. There are some people who just have a very easy sense of humor,
Mm-hmm.
and like others who like learn it and like maybe kind of force it over time. Padawan has like the most naturally funny to me. So his sense of humor is in line with mine. The funniest videos I've seen online, just like genuinely, casually funny. A deep understanding of like the Lego community, especially having a spouse who's not a Lego fan.
Oh, she's becoming one slowly but surely.
I know.
Good.
I know.
Good on
but
him.
at the same time, some really, really, really fun, like cathartic videos, like somebody who understands the community very well. Padawan.
Awesome.
Thumbs up there. Stud Lake is here.
Shout out to Stud Lake. This show could not be possible without him.
Brought to you by Matt Black Bricks.
And how about we do this for a quick second? Would this be okay with you?
Anything you want to do is okay with me.
Since he's here, let me present a screen here. We haven't done this ever on the Brick Connection, but we will do one of these.
D Bishop is here. Nice.
The merch is alive.
Nice. Look at
guys,
this. Hey, is this a reveal?
This is a reveal.
What?
This is it. So it comes in 2 colors. You get the sand blue. I wasn't kidding, was I?
You weren't.
And if you want to stay on brand like your favorite host in the biz, you can rock gray. What I think we should do, because during these shows I always wear the hat. Maybe we could get like a Brick Connection hat going. That'd be kind of sick. But yeah, so
kind of sick for sure.
I
ordered the blue.
It comes.
I'm more of a blue guy.
Yeah, the original idea.
Papa Trip's here.
Papa Trip. The original idea was we would save the blue for people who have been on the show. Then I got to thinking, I'm like, technically everyone has been on the show in some capacity. Like right now, Stud Lake's on the show. He's popped up in the comments. So, I didn't want to do anything wrong to anyone, but, regardless, I'm just glad these came out great. Like, you even got the MBB on the sleeve with the Ostif logo on the other. It's just great. It's a nice looking shirt. And shout out to all, I think 10 of you now that have purchased shirts. Like, it's crazy to think.
Purchase a shirt.
Purchase a shirt. Yeah,
Do
and
it.
I pinned a comment here on the YouTube chats.
Do it.
But commenting to get credit for working. He's getting
Fair
the
enough.
credit.
Yeah.
And then Stickler, how's it
If you
going?
can't stick around, leave the stream open so Austin gets the watch hours, please.
Yeah, and you, because this is co-streamed to you.
And smash that like button.
It's the thumbs up, right? There we go. Then, dang, Mark, you want a different stream?
The Bishop family from Brickworld, Indianapolis. So you know what they do, or they did this year for the first time, and it's amazing. They usually have a very classic sort of like Lego City updated layout. They did a layout called From This to That, where they took official sets and built alternate builds and showed you the original model and the alternate build.
Oh, that's cool.
So inspiring to
That's neat.
people who don't get those alternate model builds on the back of the box anymore.
Oh, I miss when they used to do that.
Same. Did they do that in your lifetime, sir?
Yeah. They did. It was like the very, very tail end. Like last ever wave, I'd imagine. I remember.
Yeah, probably.
Like 2004, and I had it.
Yeah.
The spouse has no choice. They know you're not leaving Lego. This is true.
Yeah, exactly. BMAC Tag has a spouse that knows that very well.
That's good. Everyone's saying buy that merch.
Buy that merch.
Boop just saying sand blue is my choice. I agree. It's my all-time favorite color. And once that shirt comes in, I probably won't be wearing gray anymore.
There you go.
That's sad. Papa Trip, what's going on?
Papa Trip.
Here we go. This is what I want to get into next.
Yes.
So this is what we'll do.
Good question.
So,
Lego Monthly. So, I mean, it was the first place where I had like a leadership position. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Austin.
Let's read it just so people, because this also gets put onto Spotify with no video. Shout out to everyone that's listening, not live, who's either replay or on Spotify. Glad you could be here.
It gets put on the Spotify. Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Maybe Ben and I should do that.
Could. I can show you the rope how.
Our show would maybe not work on Spotify in that case because we do so many visual jokes.
That could be. Like for me, that's why I kind of keep it this format, answer a few questions and go to the chat for a little bit, so it's easier listening for other people who can't be here live. Trying to make something for everyone. But Muttley's asking you, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Muttley.
Hero Brick's your first Lego online presence.
It's the first place where I had like a leadership position because I was a moderator and then an admin. And then now I'm still a root admin there. I don't go there anymore. I don't know how to update the code anymore because so much time has passed. But no, I actually started an FBTB. Is that still around?
I don't think so.
I was very active there. I worked from home for a while. I was a bouncer at a bar when I first moved to Chicago.
Tell us about that too.
Yeah, I was a bouncer at a bar. And then I was doing freelance web design during the day. And I didn't do very well working from home at first. I'm much better at working from home now than I used to be. But when I was, how old was I then? 22, 23? Like, I would just get lost on the internet or TV. I'd watch I watched daytime TV. I watched Days of Our Lives. Was
Jensen Ackles on it at the time?
No, he was on for only a very short. No, I think he was. I think he was. Yeah. He was only on for like a year before WB came around and
took him for Supernatural.
They signed him. Well, they originally signed him to just not take any other work.
Oh, because that makes sense.
Yeah. So he was like absent for like 2 years before Supernatural actually started.
Yeah, because he's doing a lot of work with Jessica Alba too.
Oh, is he? Good.
He was. Yeah.
Oh, he was back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't shout out to one of my favorite podcasts, the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum.
Okay.
And he brought up the point where, him and Alba were working on a movie together, and it was kind of like Airbnb type situation. They were in the house together, and Michael Rosenbaum's like, "Hey, did you hit on her a little bit?" And then Jensen's like, "Yeah, no, she's a total bitch."
No!
He goes, "I couldn't stand her, so I went and got a hotel." on my
No,
own
I mean,
dime.
I think he's a much better actor than what he's been able to do on Supernatural. So I kind of feel bad for him that
He's
was his first like step into. I hope he
yeah.
becomes something else after Supernatural.
He's a soldier boy in The Boys, and been doing. He's blown up with
Is
that.
that who that is? Oh
Hmm.
my God, that's him.
Yeah, he's like a
He's so
Captain
old
America if
now.
he's bad.
Yeah, no, he's
He's
hot as
great.
hell. He's always been hot as hell.
Yeah, like when I was
No,
at Fan
trust me.
Expo,
When
I
he was
tried
Eric
to meet him.
Brady on Days of Our Lives, I was like, where'd they get this actor? Like, you know,
You're like,
like,
whoa, where's our casting call room? Oh, we know Mark's celebrity crush. We all know who mine is, so
oh, you don't know the half of my celebrity crushes.
exactly.
Um, either way, I was on FBTB
Mhm.
and I annoyed the hell out of the moderators because I was just like, I was a bouncer at a bar, and we've all seen my methods of escapism. In my early 20s, I was a much heavier drinker than I am now, and so I'd get on FBTB after my shifts and just like rant about how much I love Lego and like F bomb on them, and like I think I got banned a couple times. Like I spent way too much time there. Like it was a sort of an early form of escapism. And I think that was the first place I really made a splash because I was highlighted a lot on the mock page because I built an A-Wing starfighter before the A-Wing was out. I built a UCS Star Destroyer before the UCS Star Destroyer was out. I built a Naboo Palace playset before there was anything about like structures in the prequel trilogy. So I got highlighted a lot, but they hated me because I was so annoying. Besides the mocks that I would, and back then you couldn't just like post a mock; you had to submit it to like their mock of the week thing.
They have
So
to get like judged and critiqued, and
yeah, I think the original BB code was like you couldn't post pictures on your own; you had to submit the picture through a form. Yeah,
so
so
you
it
tell
definitely
me if
had to be.
I wanted to, post the simple apartment, it would have to go through like rounds to be deemed worthy.
Maybe you could post them in the threads, and then you had to submit it to see if it could be put on the front page, and that's what I'm remembering incorrectly. But yeah, I was still a pain in the
Like
ass.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like quite a few things where I was like trying to I was so involved in like the daily drama of the site that they were like I got a talking to from the moderators quite a few times. We're like, we know you're trying to help. We think you're actually making things worse. Can you just duck out when somebody else is arguing and just let us handle it? Like too big for my britches.
Okay.
And yeah, it was an awkward time for me. I was 22.
22.
Yeah.
Did you say I don't know about you? I'm feeling 22.
I did, and I have no idea where those lyrics are from.
T-Swizzle.
Oh, there we go. Is that Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
I don't know most of her music. Sorry.
Neither do I. I just kind of know that from, I don't know, it was like a few years ago. It was like on everyone's like reels or whatever they would post. That's how I know it.
Fair enough.
I could only get so much annoyance so many times before it became like ingrained in my forehead.
But yeah, it was in answer to Muttley's question. No, I started on like FBTB building a reputation that wasn't good.
And then I guess kind of to lead into that, you were starting to dabble with it a little bit, kind of like, when you're talking about your Legoland experience and like how you're working with that and how you're already basically kind of seems like you're running Brickworld without being named a title.
Oh, hardly.
No, really?
No, I just did like the visual marketing stuff.
Okay.
For a long time, which is not the bit. So that's the big thing I've learned since then. It's like buying the business. I was like, yeah, I understand so much about it. I understand how these work, but when it comes down to like, and I was a project manager for Legoland eventually, and I moved into art direction. So I was very, very good at it. I was very organized, very disciplined, very on time for everything. It's different when you're doing every damn part of it, and when you don't have the skills, like when you don't have finance skills or like accounting skills or like. Or let's just say like the basics of like, hey, somebody violated the content policy, but you don't necessarily need to kick them out, but you need to address it, like difficult conversations. When you have to do everything like that, it's kind of like the businessing side of it. I've said I wouldn't wish owning a small business on my worst enemy. It's kind of like when you have to wear all the hats, you're the only full-time employee. And I have amazing part-time employees. David and Phoebe. Specifically, just amazing people who support the brand so much and do so much for me, and I pay them, but like I have to shrug when I say I pay them because it's not great. It's not great, and they're putting in hours. They are putting in hours for it, and a lot of support from the community. I couldn't do it without all the people who support. There's a lot of people who volunteer, like Ben. Ben
Mhm.
gets a box of maple poly bags for his pay that he has to hand out to other people, so he doesn't even get anything.
Hey,
Yeah,
it
and he
just
co-hosts the
shows.
show, and we're 99 episodes. He's done 99 episodes, and all he has to show for it is a crate of maple poly bags.
I think that just kind of shows a testament to you that I feel like there's. I don't want to throw shade at any other person or whatever. I've seen like images and videos of people attending other conventions. They're doing it just mainly for the business gravitational point, where it feels like for you is kind of like the title of this episode. You're making kind of a place for everyone. It's not about the money at the end of it. It's about making sure that everyone's happy.
Both would be nice.
Yes, but it feels like your heart's in it for the right reason.
We do err on the side of the caution, and that's where like people are like, I've got consultants. I have great friends. I have great friends outside of the Lego community who are trying to help me. So I have a business consultant who has given me an entire like restructuring of the business for free, just to go hang out and let our dogs play together. His dog is absolutely in love with my dog. Like loves her so much. Sure. You want to see the dog?
Yeah, let's see some puppies.
But the point is, like, I have support. I have like, I have people who can help me with this. In the meantime, the imposter syndrome gets in the way. We'll see how long she stays up here, and she's also dead asleep right now. She left.
Well,
she's gone.
We'll see her.
So she probably got fed. Let me see if I can call her. Give me 1 second.
See this live action call. Look at that. This is some riveting content, folks. And for you guys watching on Spotify, I'm sorry.
We'll see if she comes down. She might be asleep upstairs. So she might not have heard that. I'm not going to try too hard because
I'm excited.
Oh, here she is. Okay, perfect.
I'll get to meet her in person one day.
Come here, Book. Come here, Boo. Come here. All right, we haven't done this for a long time, not since you were like a little puppy.
We're breaking history here. Yo!
Here she is.
Yo! Wow! Let's full screen you here.
We're going to put her on the screen. Here she is.
Someone needs a screenshot.
She's such a sweetie. Look at.
Oh my heavens.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
This is gold.
Hi, baby. You having a good night?
He probably can't hear me, can he?
I can hear you.
Can he? Can the puppy?
Can she? She can't.
Oh, she.
Yeah. It's our baby girl. She's 9 different types of hound.
I'll just do this. She can visually see hearts.
She can. Oh, look at her. She's looking at them.
She's like, oh, what's that red stuff on the screen?
All right, baby. But she really wants to get down. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hold on. Still. All right, ready? Here we go. Good girl. Oh, okay. Now she thinks I'm playing. She wants to wrestle. She wants to wrestle now. She just pushed her face into my butt.
Oh.
She gooses when she wants to play.
It's not after hours yet.
Hi, sweetie. Good girl.
Everyone's loving the puppy action.
She's loving the attention. She just didn't want to be held anymore. She was very still until I moved like a little bit. As soon as I was like, let's put her down, she was like, kick. And I'm like,
I'll get to meet her here in a few months.
My dog, who was my last dog, who was 70 pounds, she liked to be cuddled like that. She liked to be picked up. Orion's like a svelte 57 pounds. She's much easier to lift, but she does not like to be picked up.
But yes, you can clip that. Someone was asking.
Yeah, you can. Of course you can.
You can clip it. You have both of our consents.
Whew. So VMAC Attack. He's one of our prolific chat members on Think Outside the Blocks. He does at least 2 of our expos, Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, and he's doing shorts for us now. He's doing Brickworld briefs for us. And what does he get? I give him his registration, and more. I just don't want to promise too much. VMAC, you get more than that. But let's make it sound worse, because I'm basically dressing myself down here. And Ben knows he gets more than that too. But it's kind of the thing where I'm like, I have people doing a ton of work. Like VMAC watches the shows, converts our footage into videos and shorts, and he basically gets his registration and hotel.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, but he's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, That's for sure. But sometimes it's about those little trade-offs that make all the difference. So
Appreciate people so much.
yes, and I kind of want to break down. Kind of go for a little bit more of a, so people can. I don't think a whole lot of people know that we know each other the way we do, type thing.
Right.
Because they're probably like, how's this guy?
How can they?
Yeah, and
They weren't there at 11 p.m. every night.
No,
of the
this
show.
was like, I don't know, probably like a 1 a.m. Interaction, like 1 a.m. type thing, almost 2, I think. Let's see. I took a photo.
Oh, you're right. No, it was that late. Real quick. So Josh and Lindsay, Super Hawk, just texted me a screen cap of me holding Orion, which is adorable. I just realized there was a text that didn't go through.
Oh.
That I sent them, explaining to them they're working on a sponsor for us, and so I had an email from the sponsor, and I copied them on it and said like, "Hey, let's keep this open for all of us to talk to each other."
Yeah.
And the text that didn't go through to Josh and Lindsay, they've been taking care of the sponsor, and I trust them to do so. The text I sent to them was like, he emailed me, so I want to email him back, keep us all on the same page. So I'm copying you on it. I'm not trying to like step on your process of working with him. They didn't get that. They just got the email where I was like, "Hi, it's Mark, and I'm just adding my staff." So just to let you know, in case you were surprised by the email, the text I sent you to explain the email before I sent it did not go through. Anyway, go ahead.
Gotcha. So, how... So, you never met me up to that point.
No.
You may have just saw my name like flicker up every now and again.
No, I didn't know who you were until I met you.
Yeah. So how was that like? How was that all? Because the catalyst for us meeting, for our romance to take shape, was through Sean DeRightway.
Yes.
So
from ACOB.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't watch ACOB, that's another YouTube channel you should be paying attention to, who really loves the community as well. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And they go, I think, on Tuesdays now, too.
Here and there.
Yeah. But they do a lot of videos as well. And one of their co-hosts needs me to come to their Animal Crossing island and bring them blue roses. And I just haven't had the time quite yet. And purple pansies, which I also had more trouble making them blue roses. But I would say the one takeaway I have from meeting you is you were there. We connected directly over the Dead Dads Club.
Yeah. Because I asked, like,
just kind of a thing that happened.
Yeah.
No, you have something about you. Let me tell you this, and remember this for the rest of your life, and don't let anybody ever tell you different. There's something about you. Like if people have a spot, you know how to hit them in it casually, and just kind of like make them feel comfortable, but also like heard and seen. Like it's a very special skill where like to get my attention in that way and make me relax at that show. I was like, all right, I'm going to go find this guy every night. I'm just going to chill with him at 1 a.m.
I'll be the free therapist.
It's not even therapy. It's just comfort. It's just like a chill zone.
Just for you, it's free of charge.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it's $100 down payment.
That was my experience meeting you.
Well, I appreciate that.
I appreciate it too.
Have that like
that effect.
Yeah.
Yes, like, you did.
Because I think you heard this in ACOB. Like I almost backed out like 2 days before going to Brickworld. Because I don't like associating with new people. I get too overwhelmed, if that makes sense. And then once I saw like the magnitude of like looking at images of like how many people go, I'm like, what did I just get myself into? Like being in the army and stuff, that was different, because everyone's there for the same thing.
Yeah, you bond on a trauma level in the army in a way that you don't in real life.
Yeah, everyone's going through the same level of suck. It's like,
yeah.
Everyone hates their lives equally. That's the best way to put it.
Bonded in that way, more that you had to than you chose to, with the way that I think you took that part with you.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, it reminds me of my dad, who also was in the armed services during Vietnam. So I recognize it.
Yeah, and I feel like if it weren't for us, I remember like we both kind of like, I don't want to say dumped, but we both talked about our father's passing for like 2 hours. Yeah, we talked about that.
Into a safe garbage dump.
Yeah, because it was like up to that point, I didn't tell anyone about all Why did I just do thumbs up? But okay.
I do the same thing. I talk like this a lot. Like I do this a lot where I'm like, and then the thumb just comes up and I'm like, stop it.
Yeah. So I want to tie that into what I want to ask you next. So you bought Brickworld. So walk us through about how, it came about of you buying Brickworld. And you bought it at like a unique time in human history.
Good transition from the trauma comments. So yeah, I bought it in August of 2019, and I did immediately a new show, Brickworld Kansas City. That was the worst show on record at the time. We've had 2 beat it since then. It was the first show to lose money in the history of the Brickworld company. And so I started with Brickworld Kansas City, and I was like, oops. And then I did Detroit and Fort Wayne that had like modest profits. And like typically the smaller shows, they were Detroit was still relatively new. Fort Wayne is just a smaller market. It's where Brian Bonahum is from, and so he wanted to do a show there.
Okay, makes sense.
So that his family could come see it.
Yeah,
because they weren't necessarily going to travel to other cities to be a part of it. Although his sister Barb, who I love to death, did a lot of the shows for a long time. She did Indy and Chicago. And she did quite a few of those for me too. She came out and did those shows. God, I love her so much. And then, so yeah, about 2 weeks before, no, it was the week before we were supposed to leave for Brickworld Indianapolis. I had just rented the truck. So it was 2 weeks before. So the following week would have been when I left for the show.
Good night,
was
Muttley.
when the lockdown started. Good night, Muttley. It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh.
It's almost 3 a.m. for him.
I would love to reconnect with you, actually.
We could arrange that.
So it just kind of all shut down, and that was going to be like the first, because Indy's always a successful show until 2024. But it was kind of like I wanted to run the budgets the way I did for Legoland. I had everything set up. I had this beautiful document that's set up. I called it Journey. And so it was a Journey spreadsheet, and I opened it up and tried to look at it again when we started doing shows again in 2021. And I was like, why are all these formulas broken? Because there was one column in March of 2020 that just said fuck. Like I made it all one cell, and it just had the F word in it. And so I've never been able to put that document back together. I know I can if I take the time to do with it. It's just traumatizing to look at it.
Yeah.
And also it had all the loans in it. Now the loans are paid off, so I just need to start it over. So it was rough. It was really rough because I would say that's when the escapism really started. That's when like the heavy drinking started. But not in 2020. In 2020, we did 5 virtual shows. Like I was doing my best to like wake up every day and say, hey, this is outside of my control. Like the mantra for my life. There's a lot outside of my control. What's in my control? Do what you can with what's in your control and make it the best. So I did that throughout 2020. And then early 2021, I started fielding emails and phone calls from all these venues. And it was like Groundhog Day. Like I was going through the exact same motions. Let's reschedule. Let's cancel. Let's do this. I was like, we just fucking did this. We just fucking did this. And then we had a rooftop deck and a driveway. And so my condo became a neighborhood bar. And so I had people in the driveway every weekend.
What's the price of drinks? What's the price?
Whatever they had at 7-Eleven, at the 7-Eleven if they were open. Because 7-Eleven might be closed early because of the COVID lockdown, or the mask restrictions still because they weren't getting the business. Or it might be boarded up because of the protests over the death of George Floyd. Like there was no telling when businesses were going to even be open. And so our parking lot and our rooftop deck became like a neighborhood bar. We had a fire pit. We had like, and so I spent most of my time doing that. Like, let's keep all of our friends in the neighborhood connected. And so people would like my Cheeto's dad, my trainer would be like, hey, you've never met my friend Ron, but his birthday is next week. And can we have his birthday party in your driveway? And I was like, yes, please. Let's do that. I started playing Animal Crossing.
Oh, I love those Animal Crossing streams.
But then I just shut down the business entirely. I'm like, no more virtual shows, no more YouTube videos, no more nothing. Like I can't look at this because it was just like, to me, failure staring me in the face and just like unfair, which is not a word I use very often because like I've lived a long life, right? I don't think fair ever is a metric you should look at.
You're 38 years young?
48 years young.
38,
48. No,
38.
sir. Every year of 48 is in this brain. I am a 48-year-old through and through, and I'm
Am I
fine with
invited?
that.
Can I be
You
invited
can
to
come
the
in for my
50th?
50, 100%.
Yes! You know
100%.
I'm gonna be there showing up with
100%.
cool lattes. Presented by Austin Distribution. As
So it
people
was
that
like,
say, Austin has aura.
it was weird. Like everything got rescheduled to 2021 except Chicago. We shut that down very early because it was June.
Mm.
And so we were still in the winter of 2021. There was a giant blizzard here in Chicago. No one knew what was going to be happening during the summer. We got a lot of angry emails in May of 2021. They were like, "You just need to do the show and like man up." And I was like, "All right, we had to make this call in February." So,
Good night, Brick Dynasty.
so you tell me about manhood with a global pandemic and a public event business. So shut up. And then they all got rescheduled. All the other expos got rescheduled to September and October of 2021. We did 4 shows in 5 weeks. And
That's insane.
It was trial by fire. And then from there, right off into scheduling Indy, Milwaukee, Chicago. First time doing Chicago. And I still had Kathy and Brian on a consulting agreement. But there was a lot of lost knowledge. They didn't necessarily remember exactly how to do everything. It was like kind of like learning how to ride a bike again for them, and then trying to tell me over Zoom how to ride a bike, you know? So it wasn't easy. It hasn't been easy. Nothing's easy, especially small business ownership. And so we get a little bit better. We get a little better and better every year. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's only been 5 weeks since I kind of climbed out of all that like depression and escapism with a lot of medical help. From the last 5 years. Like it's I'm only myself again now. I'm only 2019 Mark again now. I don't even know if I'm fully there, but I feel much closer to that than I have for a very long time.
Yeah.
Owning a business on top of that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is hell.
I just want to say, just to you, like, you know, when I met you initially, you know, I'm like, oh, this guy's great, positive. You know, he's just happy to be here. Like
you got to fake it till you make it. Yep. Same. Yep,
and now
exactly
it's
that.
like now you're saying that, you know, now
yeah,
I'm able to kind of like, I can piece together, oh, you know, there's some things where I'm like, okay. And now it's just like being able to kind of step back and like a retrospective view, like Mark that I met then and the Mark I know now. They're very different people, but still same.
Well, and that's what I appreciate is that you picked up on, well, you at least chose to notice the positives that were still there. Like I was still me, but like I wasn't really, I was phoning that in. I was like going through the motions because I know that's who I am. And now finally I feel like I can, like they both come back together basically. And I am that person again. And it hopefully over the next 2 months, it'll less than 2 months, a month and a half.
Don't say it. You know, I do the countdown every week, and now that like I'm just now full-time employed to actually start saving. This first paycheck's going straight to take me from 0 to whatever for Brickworld.
I have been there.
It's like, I'm like, I can't miss out on Brickworld. If I have to do anything, I will take out a small loan to get there. It's like, and that's also a testament to what you know, you and all your staff do for Brickworld. It makes it, you know, that great where you're like, you know, I will take a loan to get there.
Oh,
it's like,
I had a meltdown in a meeting this week. And like one of the things that we found, because I'll put it this way, I'm in therapy. And one of the things that I found is like, as I've climbed out of this, like escapism, depression, etc., I have these like bursts of anger, and like I don't translate
very well
anger very well.
Me too.
So I act more like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, like
than a 48-year-old.
I'm that same way. Like I don't want to like out myself or whatever, but like I don't know, January, you know, like September, January is very hard. You know why? I'm not gonna say it online, or you know, I got a call from someone or whatever, and I just came back into my where I'm living, and you know, and I don't know. I always knew there was like a picture of me and my dad just right in the entryway or whatever. Just I don't know why I just immediately just like put my hand right into the glass, and it's just like it's so stuff like that. It's like that
was me. I had these crazy like fight responses Well, I'm much more of a flight person. I'm much more of like, let's pull. That's why I was a good bouncer, because I
Walk
could
with
talk
me.
people out the door. Walk with me, exactly. Walk with me. Let's go talk outside. You're never going back inside. But like after some of this stuff happened, I remember going. I took a bus somewhere, and we lived off the alley. Our back door was off the alley when we lived in the condo. So I walked around the corner to where there was a huge high rise on the corner of the alley, and so it was a blind corner walking around. And I walked around the corner, and a jogger was running, and he was right there, and I just like pulled back, and he was like, whoa, 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 and I'm sorry. I just kept pulling back, like I was still gonna hit him. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. That's all I could say. I was like, I'm sorry too, but I was also gonna fucking throttle this guy, and I was like, but that's not. I don't do that.
Yeah,
that's not something that's in me. And then I had a bad neck injury once upon a time, and it was acting up, and I went to a muscle activation therapist, and he was trying to find where all the spots were, and he found a nerve here, and I grabbed him. When he grabbed the nerve, it hurt like hell. My body just like responded, and I grabbed him like really hard, and I was like, again, it was the same thing. Like, I'm sorry. He's like, let go. And I was like, fuck, who is this person? Like, yeah, there's all sorts of responses when you go through something like that. Yeah.
It's very interesting, being able to look back on it, like, oh yeah,
it's fascinating.
It's like, I want to recognize this comment here. I've never agreed to loss of my dad because I had to take care of the rest of my family. Yeah, that was exactly me. Mark talked about that too.
I told myself that. I literally told myself that. Stop thinking about it, accept it, and take care of your mom and your sister and your niece and your nephew.
It was like, the same thing for me. I maybe just got out of, doing what I did at the time, and I was back at home with mom and pa, and, when I found my dad or whatever, my first instinct was like, take mom, lock her in the bathroom until EMS is done. So that's not what she has to see type thing. And, you were the first person I opened up about that to, because it was like, I was still in that frame, like, I have to be available for my sister, my brother, and my mother, and everyone else under the sun,
It's a safe place to go. It's a safe thing to tell yourself, be the man and take care of everybody else. And then you shut down your feelings.
Yeah. Because I used to remember his strict instructions from my dad's like, you can cry for 5 minutes, take care of everyone else, and then do it. I'm like, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotta love that. Oh no, that energy the dads carry,
Well, and my dad was very realistic about things. He knew he had a couple like health problems. He didn't know the right one. He didn't know aneurysm was going to happen.
No, I don't think anyone knows that. Unless you go and get a really good fortune cookie.
Right. really good fortune cookie. He'd be like, I'm going to go first, and you need to take care of your mom. And I'd be like, okay. All right, let's go bowling. Yeah. Let's have dad's son night because it's so important to you. Like, yeah, that sort of like retrospect that like makes you feel all that guilt. Yeah.
Like, oh wow.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, that's exactly the process you go through. And the grieving process won't let you just do that.
No.
Not at all.
It's a year-long, more than a year. It's like a lifetime.
Oh, it's been 13 years since my dad died. It's still going through it.
It's a lifetime thing, dude.
It's a totally, like, you'll get better, but you'll never be the same. It'll never go away.
It's a new normal.
Totally. And like, anyone who hasn't gone through this, you'll hear all this shit about like the 7 stages of grief, 12. I don't even know.
There's like 50.
Even the people who wrote the book, they never said it happens in a certain order. And you'll see all this stuff out there that's like, you go through this, you go through this. No, you do not.
Yeah. Because
you may take one of every one of those in any random order in one single day.
Because what?
10 years later.
What? There's shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, reconstruction, and acceptance. Yeah. I'm shocked I knew all 7 of those.
You read them faster than I was like, I don't know.
I just remember my therapist always telling me those.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, I went through it with like I did go through it with the company too. I went through it with buying the company right before the pandemic started.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Like,
I found a close family member and I thought that person was dead. They weren't, but it was the same thing all over again. And the reason I thought they were dead wasn't a good reason. And there was time to get through that too. And then 2 months later, we were in a pandemic and the business was falling apart. And all that just like mixed together. And so I'm surprised I lasted an entire year before I started going to the 7-Eleven and buying like a bottle of Jameson every day.
Dude, your 7-Eleven sells Jameson?
Every other day. Yeah, there's like about 50% of them in the city have liquor licenses in Chicago.
Shoot, I need to move to Chicago.
Yeah, but I like, honestly, to go back to the business and bring it back to the Brickworld stuff, I associated a lot of like, not trauma really, but a lot of like imposter syndrome with it. Like, I can't do this. I don't have the capacity. I can't. Well, because my brain was going through so much else and trying to like shift to being a small business owner and like taking on all the things I didn't know. A lot of stuff got in the way of that. Yeah.
A lot of life.
I have a new idea for the keynote speech this year.
Can we get a little nug?
No, like this. Like just talking to people about the history of Brickworld and saying like, this is what we've been through in the last 5 years.
Please. I think that,
it feels good to talk about it.
Yeah, because it's more than, I don't want to say an accomplishment because it's more than that. It's more of like a testament, if anything.
It's more of a battlefield win at this point.
A testimony. So, I'm sure a lot of people probably wonder this, when they go to Brickworld and they know who you are. I personally wondered this, but you said it a few times going since now I kind of recognize. You're not the only Lego convention in the world.
Right.
Do you ever feel kind of like a sense of like what you said, like an imposter syndrome? Like where you see maybe like how this con or event's doing, like is there ever like a feeling where you wish that, or you think that your event is not as subpar as theirs?
No, I think like all the cons are different. I feel this towards the expos, and it's something I wish I can rectify. But for the cons, like you said, or like Padawan said, like Padawan said, that was his first convention. That'll always be his home show, even though he lives in the UK.
My home show will always be Chicago.
Mine too, obviously. And I've been to other shows, and I'm like, I just don't feel the same thing. It's because you get a certain expectation. I always compare it to the first time I went on a gay cruise. It's like the first time in my life I went to a space where I knew once those doors closed, I didn't have to explain to I didn't have to come out to anybody. And it's kind of the same when you go to any Lego convention. You get to the venue, you don't have to explain.
Oh, I love it.
You do this in the basement. You don't do this. You do this on the side. You're an adult that builds stuff out of Legos. Everybody knows that. Everyone, it's a safe place to talk about and just go from there instead of trying to have to explain it first. Your home con is your home con. I would never ever disparage another convention. I made the expos, but I've also had imposter syndrome for the expos because some of them seem to, from my research, bring in a lot more people than we're able to. That's kind of me catching up with like current like modern marketing, which again, I have a branding degree, not a marketing degree. So I've been running to catch up ever since I bought them. But ever since Kathy and Brian hired me full time to work for them before I bought the company and started digging into it and being like, all right, how do we do this? Oh God, there's a bunch of stuff I don't know that the branding degree didn't like prepare me for.
Yeah.
But the convention side, if you have a home show, if you want to go to Brick Slopes, if you want to go to Skaterbeck and that's your home show, I'll never be like, no, Brickworld's better. No, it's not. It's not for you. Like, we're all about building community. We're all about giving resources to AFOLs. We're all about making AFOLs feel like they're in a comfortable, safe space. Like, promote every single one of them. Go to your home show. Go to your favorite convention. If you don't want to come to Brickworld, don't. Like, try it out. Yeah, please come try it out. But if you don't enjoy it as much as BrickCon, like don't come then. That's totally fine. I'm not offended by that whatsoever. I have the utmost respect for everyone else who runs a convention for AFOLs.
It's like, kind of speaking on what you were saying a moment ago, you and Brickworld, you guys seemingly gave me like my best friends of my lifetime. Like, I knew Sean, Brent, Cody, Coop. I knew everyone, to a point that you can know someone virtually. It's like you spend like at Brickworld, I kid you not, probably like 120 hours worth of time spent with those guys. And you don't get sick of each other. That's the thing. And leaving Brickworld, having everyone's phone numbers, and now we're all kind of like,
We're
I can't.
pooks.
Yeah, like you and I will just text each other out of the blue, just like, "Hey, what's going on today?" Just something random, or like, that goes for
Perfect.
everyone else I met.
Love it.
Like you were able to give me like a sense of friendship that I never even had when I was in the service.
Yeah.
Like, and you're really close to those dudes. Like you're really like taking a dump right next to each other on a tree trunk close. It's like you can't get much closer to that, but you can. But and anyone who's ever teetering defensive, like, should I go to a brick convention, even if it's not Brickworld? Say if you just don't have, if you don't have the means to go, like for me, like going to Chicago, yeah, it's a hour drive, but there's a lot of means that go into that, like hotel room, gas, food. There's a lot of items that go into it, and you do a good job being able to provide food on the spot, like access to food. You do a great job with that, the food trucks.
Nicole does a great job with that. Nicole is she's prolific with that. Another staff member who does a lot for us. She works the merchandise booth. You can see her every day of the week. She's my age, and she is behind the merch booth. She is she's a lesbian with purple and blue hair.
Oh, shout out to her.
Can't miss her.
Because I remember when the booth was out with like stuff, I kept eyeballing the gray medium shirt, like the entire convention or whatever. And she took note of that. And I came by on the last day. She goes, because your guys' gray shirts were all sold out at the time. She goes, were you looking for a gray medium shirt? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I saw you all week. Here, buy this. I'm like, okay. That was just a great interaction.
She's so good at what she does.
She is.
When it comes to merch and when it comes to food trucks, like she just nails it. Like I'm so blessed to have these people in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you this. Imagine you had gone to something really cozy, like Omaha's Brick Days, which is a convention that's run by Nate Flood. And very passionate about doing this. Smaller show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a very good fan base like I do. But it's like, I don't know. I haven't been there. So I'm just going to estimate half the size. You went to a cozier show like that for your first Lego convention, and then you were like, let's try Brickworld Chicago, and then you were overwhelmed because it's giant. It's like you'd want to go back to Brick Days,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it makes perfect sense. Like you find your home the first time it hits you in the heart,
Mm-hmm. It's like, there's a lot of conventions that happen in Ohio. I'm sure there's usually one in Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati. There's one in like there's like Q1, Q3, and Q4.
People are always like, come to Ohio, and I'm like, no, it's crowded.
One day,
crowded.
The one, if you ever do, I'll be there 100% every single. It's not like I'm not going to be there any other day, regardless. So it's like I can't even say anymore because I'm up for like 20 hours of Brickworld every day, so I can't trump that.
So am I.
I'll be up for 24 of every day. I'll be certified dead by the end of it with the amount of cores that we have consumed.
Dear Lord, yeah.
But, as we kind of dwindle down, because I know we're both kind of on a time crunch type thing, my final question to you.
Yes.
What's one thing that you wish people knew? With people's expectations, I feel like if people are like me, they have a way of like setting their bar way up high, and sometimes things aren't met. And there's usually things behind the scenes that kind of can cause stuff like that. Yeah, we're all human. Nothing can go pinpoint excellent pin like dotted to pen.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. I guess my point would be on that is, I mean, we're always going to try to produce the best show possible and bring new stuff and fine tune the things that work. But there's going to be a disappointment year for you. No matter how many times you do this, everybody, there's going to be a disappointment year where like your expectations are up and something happens where it's like,
no way
you don't just get the same feel. I know.
The boys are always going to be there, so it's.
I know. I've felt it myself. Like especially if the convention keeps growing. I think my first disappointing year was 2009, 2010, where more people started showing up, and I wasn't able to meet everybody. And there were so many people there that things got clicky, and so people were separating into groups for the first time. I mean, when there's less than 100 attendees, y'all just hang out and you get to know like everybody's name. You remember everybody.
Yeah.
And you all hang out in the same room. And then as it grew, the more people came. Somebody said to me last year, one of the content creators was like, this year seemed like it was all about drama. And I was like, this year seemed really great, but I understood because a lot like what we talked about, like that security incident, like the content creators all knew what was going on, and it created quite a bit of tension. And I could see why people thought it was more dramatic than the previous year, because it certainly was for them, for that group. So it's just like something may get in the way of like your full enjoyment of it. I don't think ever to a point where like I never had anything happen that it was something where like I don't want to come back next year, but I know other people have. Specifically for Brickworld, I know that there's quite a few people. Before I owned the company, there were some things happening that like I'm still trying to get some of these people back. So it may happen at some point. There may be something that gets in the way. The more you get to know people, the more you are, the more you set up expectations for it, or the more expectations are set up on you. There may be things that like pull you in different directions. And so my advice for people is just to go in with the expectation of like,
you're just gonna have a good time
doing what you need. Yes, exactly. Doing the best for yourself. And like our motto is building community. And so I definitely want people to reach out and share resources and everything, but protect yourself too from some of the drama that does happen. We've got 2,000 freaking people as badged attendees every year. You can't like every single one of them.
Yeah.
And so shit's going to happen, unfortunately. So I would say like, what I want people to know is that as much as it's that gay cruise, that once the doors on the boat are closed, you don't have to come out of the closet and there's a safety there. Gay bitches cause drama, and there's going to be drama on this boat that you don't want to be a part of. And so just like expect some disappointments and just do your best to let them roll off your back, because it will happen. As much as we try to like shore things up and create a really safe, fun environment for everybody, people are still going to people in the meantime, and it might not be everything you expect. And let us know if there's something that we did that changed that experience for you. We want to know that. Oh, 100%. I will never be done growing. If I ever say like this show is perfect, just tell me, go ahead. Well, go ahead and roll over and die then. You won.
It's perfect for that year.
And hand it off to somebody else. It's never perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It will never ever be perfect. I'll set your expectations this way. I will never be perfect at this ever.
Well,
I will always. Well, thank you. But I will always continue to try to keep growing and provide the best experience for everybody. And that is my main goal, is to make sure that people feel like we are respecting their time and their money for being there to have a really good April experience. That's all I can say.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And as we close out things again, I'm going to do one last plug. I'm really excited about being able to do this. I want everyone to be able to know that they can go and buy these now. Like,
hell yeah.
Go. Like, we're not doing it ever like make money. I don't know, if people enjoy this show, why not just wear it? Especially with like Brickworld coming up, you need some brick merch to wear. I mean, there's Brickworld shirts.
Shreddy can't wait to rock
it. Ah, he says rock, actually.
He does say rocket. But you put your clothes on the rack. I thought that was rocket is just as exciting of a comment from Shreddy. My old eyes, sorry.
And we have arm printing. Not every Lego figure can say that.
I love that.
And we're gonna be having a Brickworld exclusive shirt coming in soon.
Love to hear that.
I'll fill you in the green room after all this.
All right, perfect.
But as everyone knows, it's been about 2 months since the show, so I'm sorry I didn't get to chat as best as I normally do. I can't wait to get my stuff in my closet and only wear it once a year. Hey,
same.
Change that to year round, dude. But yeah, I'm just glad that we broke record. I think we have 31 live viewers here. This is
nice,
nuts, and
congratulations. That's great.
It's great because it gives you more exposure too.
Appreciate that very much, sir.
Yes, you deserve it, because you put on an event that allows me to feel more at home than my actual home. I think that's tough to ever do in a way.
One of my favorite quotes is from one of our cinema coordinators, Casey McCoy. He said, it's like Christmas lasts 5 days, but also Christmas is on crack.
Mm. And I love this. What Jen Ultron says is, I just listening back and sitting. That's what this show's meant to do. You know, you can just hang out, do what you gotta do in the house or whatever, and just learn about two dudes or one dude and a gal. You know,
or a community.
Yeah.
General Tron has some of my favorite comments in the chat tonight, by the way.
Yeah,
gold.
Gold.
Leo gold.
He's gold. But so, you know, as I said earlier, the show's gonna be bi-weekly now, but this one time it's gonna be a 2-week gap because Mark's gonna be making another appearance on the next show. It's gonna be, you know, the 24-hour community live stream. You know, raise some money for St. Jude. So I hope that, you know, excuses the like. It's just going to be an awesome 24-hour stream with a lot of banger guests, you know, giveaways. There's going to be a lot of sleepy Ostef moments.
We'll put some giveaways in there.
Yeah. Oh.
Contribute a couple. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to, you know, raise some money for some kids and families that really need it.
Let's do it.
So, we're going to leave it off on that note. So we're going to be, Shreddy says lots of ghosts will be consumed. No cool lattes, just a lot of ghosts that stream. But Mark, is there anything you want to plug or?
Well, I already plugged the entire night. Of course, plug Brickworld. It's coming up June. I don't know, 11th through 15th.
I can give you the count.
You can give me. I don't want it. Go to brickworld.com. We just updated the website. Go to convention registration. If you're ready to join, we'll give you all the information to register for the show. Of course, join us on Think Outside the Blocks on Sundays at 7 p.m. Central. We do a lot of fun stuff. We don't necessarily talk too much about like the process of joining, getting registered for Brickworld and stuff like that. But we do talk about like how to build original creations. We talk about Lego news, and then we just act like goofballs in the last hour of the show. Then, of course, Wednesday nights you can join us at 11 p.m. Central if you want to play Animal Crossing with me, which who doesn't? And then
one of these days, I get the Switch too. If
you're watching a live stream and you're part of this community and you want to support these people who are creating content, you smash that like button, you hit subscribe. It does a lot for the algorithm, does a lot to show that you appreciate the entire community, let alone the people who are making the content to keep the community growing.
Absolutely.
Means a lot to us, means a lot to Ostef. I know that. So please, 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 if you haven't already, smash that like button and hit subscribe. You'll get notifications whenever he goes live.
Yeah. Man, you said that better than I ever could in 1,000 years. Coop has to remind me to tell people, say, well, like, hit the like. Coop just does it for me. That's all.
Same. And as you saw, I'm good at it, but I forget to do it for my own stream.
You're good. I'm gonna have to get that like pre-recorded so it just becomes a sound bite. Like you reading Curious George. All right.
Perfect.
And on that note, it was great seeing everyone again. The show will be
excellent seeing everybody.
The show will be back. But we're gonna be doing the 24 stream, which is, you know, those are always a great time.
Looking forward to it.
Happy Easter to those who celebrate, and I hope you get to have a good time with your folks. That's what I'm going to go do. Going to go watch some scary movies with them. You know, quite an opposite way to spend
Easter horror movies. No, it makes perfect sense.
You know,
we watch Aliens on Christmas because it has red and green. You know,
there you go. Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
It sure is.
We'll see you guys all next time.
Bye, everybody.